What if I told you that quitting isn't always a sign of weakness? What if the real losers are the ones who never quit anything at all? You're grinding every single day. You wake up early, you work late, you push through the pain, and you tell yourself that winners never quit and quitters never win. But here's the brutal truth that nobody wants to admit. That advice is destroying your life. Because while you're busy being stubborn, refusing to give up on things that will never work out, someone else is quitting the wrong things and becoming extraordinary at the right things. And that's exactly what Seth Godin reveals in his game-changing book, The Dip. If you're someone who wants to stop wasting years on dead-end paths and finally understand when to push through and when to walk away, you're in the right place. Welcome to Literate Lens, where we break down the books that actually change lives. And trust me, after today, you'll never look at quitting the same way again. So picture this. You start something new. Maybe it's a business. Maybe it's learning guitar. Maybe it's a relationship. In the beginning, it's amazing. You're excited, you're motivated, everything feels possible. But then, something happens. The excitement fades. The progress slows down. Suddenly, what felt effortless becomes exhausting. Every single day feels harder than the last. This is the dip. And here's what you need to understand. The dip is not a mistake. It's not a sign that you're on the wrong path. The dip is actually the secret. It's the barrier that separates the extraordinary from the average. Because here's the thing. Everyone can start. Starting is easy, but very few people can push through the dip. And that's exactly why the dip exists. It's the universe's way of filtering out everyone who isn't serious. Everyone who doesn't really want it. Everyone who's just playing around. The dip is the pain between starting and mastery. And if you can survive it, if you can push through it, you become scarce. You become valuable. You become one of the few who actually made it. Think about anything you've ever seen someone master. Think about the best doctor you know, the best chef, the best artist, the best entrepreneur. Do you think they got there because everything was smooth? Do you think they just woke up one day and were brilliant? No, they went through the dip. They went through years where nobody cared about their work. They went through moments where they wanted to give up. They went through times when everyone around them said they were crazy. But they didn't quit. Not because they were stubborn, but because they knew they were in a dip worth pushing through. And that's the crucial distinction that Godin makes. Not every dip is worth it. Some things aren't dips at all. Some things are what he calls cul-de-sacs. Dead ends that will never lead anywhere no matter how hard you try. And then there are cliffs, situations where you can keep going, but it only gets worse and worse until you eventually crash. The tragedy is that most people quit the dips and stick with the cul-de-sacs. They give up on their dreams right before the breakthrough, and they waste years on things that were never going to work in the first place. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're learning to play the violin. In the beginning, it's fun, but then you hit the dip, your fingers hurt. You're not improving fast. You practice for hours and still sound terrible. This is where most people quit, but that dip, that painful middle section, is exactly what creates value. Because everyone who quits creates more opportunity for the ones who stay. Now compare that to waiting in line at the DMV. You're standing there, it's boring, it's frustrating, but this isn't a dip. This is a cul-de-sac. You're not going to become exceptional at waiting. And yet, so many people treat their lives like the DMV line. They stick with jobs that don't challenge them, relationships that don't grow, all because they've been told that quitting is bad. But Godin flips this on its head. He says that strategic quitting is one of the most important skills you'll ever learn. The goal isn't to never quit. The goal is to quit the right things at the right time so you can double down on the dips that actually matter. Because here's the reality. Your time and energy are limited. You can't be world-class at everything. You can't push through every dip. So you have to choose. You have to look at your life and ask yourself, which dips are worth it? Which mountains am I willing to climb? And which dead ends do I need to walk away from right now? And this is where it gets emotional. Because quitting something you've invested time in hurts. It feels like failure. It feels like admitting you were wrong. It feels like all those hours, all that effort, all that hope was for nothing. But Godin reframes this completely. He says that quitting the wrong thing isn't failure. It's intelligence. It's courage. It's the willingness to be honest with yourself about what actually matters. Because every hour you spend in a cul-de-sac is an hour you could have spent pushing through a dip that would change your life. Think about the people who stay in careers they hate for 30 years because they don't want to be a quitter. Think about the relationships people stay in, long past the expiration date. These aren't examples of perseverance. These are examples of the sunk cost fallacy destroying lives. The saddest part is that these same people could have been extraordinary at something else, but they were too busy being stubborn in all the wrong places. So how do you know the difference? How do you know if you're in a dip or a cul-de-sac? Godin gives you a simple test. Ask yourself, if you push through this, if you make it to the other side, will you be glad you didn't quit? Will the pain be worth it? Will you be scarce and valuable? Or will you just be tired and in the exact same place you are now? A dip has a light at the end of the tunnel. A cul-de-sac doesn't. A dip gets you somewhere. A cul-de-sac just wastes your time. And here's the most powerful idea in the entire book. Godin says that if you're not going to make it through the dip, quit now. Don't wait. Don't suffer for years. Because the worst thing you can do is quit right when things are hardest, right before the breakthrough. If you're going to quit, quit early and strategically. But if you're going to stay, lean all the way in. Embrace the dip. Love the dip. Because the dip is where you become extraordinary. This is what separates the best from everyone else. The best aren't just talented. The best aren't just lucky. The best are the ones who identified the right dip and refused to quit when everyone else did. They're the ones who saw the pain as proof they were on the right path. They're the ones who understood that scarcity creates value, and the harder something is, the fewer people will do it, and the more valuable it becomes. So what does this mean for you? It means you need to take a hard look at your life right now. What are you doing that's just a cul-de-sac? What are you sticking with out of stubbornness or fear or guilt, knowing deep down it's never going to lead anywhere? And on the flip side, what's your real dip? What's the thing that's hard right now, painful right now, but if you push through it, would make you extraordinary? Because you can't do both. You can't waste energy on dead ends and still have enough left to conquer the challenges that matter. And here's the beautiful truth that Godin wants you to understand. Quitting the wrong things gives you the freedom to become the best at the right things. Every successful person you admire has quit 1,000 things. They've walked away from opportunities, relationships, projects, entire careers. Not because they're weak, but because they're strategic. They know that being the best in the world at something, even if it's a small world, is infinitely more valuable than being mediocre at everything. The dip is short. It's painful, but it's not forever. And on the other side of the dip is a life that most people will never experience. A life where you're not just another face in the crowd. A life where you're scarce, where you're valuable, where you're extraordinary. But you have to make a choice. You have to decide right now. Are you going to keep suffering in cul-de-sacs? Or are you going to find your dip and push through it like your life depends on it? Because honestly, it does. If this video changed how you think about quitting and winning, do me a favor. Subscribe to Literate Lens, because we're just getting started. Every week, we break down the books that actually matter. The ones that don't just inform you, but transform you. And if the dip hit you the way it hit me, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who's stuck. Someone who's grinding in the wrong place. Someone who needs permission to quit the things that don't matter, so they can finally go all in on the things that do. Remember, winners quit all the time. They just quit the right things at the right time. So, quit smart, push hard, and I'll see you in the next one.